Hey YouTube, it's Brooke. How's it going? It is Friday. I have been trying to get out here to make this video for a minute, okay? For a minute. I had to make many stops this morning. I had to do a few things. And then somebody shows up, and then I'm finally ready, and I sit down, and then the guy shows up to mow the grass. So I was like, okay, so obviously the message wasn't ready to come out yet. Hold on just a minute. It's like, okay. So yesterday, I was listening to my message back. And there was something that stood out to me that I really wanted to bring up. And I was kind of thankful that it happened the way it did, because it leaves me a great example to be able to go in a little deeper to what I was talking about yesterday. So this is kind of going to build upon the message that I had yesterday. When I was talking about the chakras and which chakra that reminded me of, and I said, because I was channeling everything that was coming through, I said, not even consciously aware, I said, I always do this. And then the message after that, 1:44 on my clock, the message after that was, you know, we're rewiring our brains. We're rewiring the trauma, how we respond to trauma. We are rewiring how we talk, because, you know, words are powerful. Words are so powerful. So, in moving forward, after that message came out, and I was like, ha ha ha, funny, I see what you did. You used me in that moment to set up the example to be able to go into it deeper. Okay, all right. So, last night, I made a commitment to myself that I was going to find a way to memorize the order. Okay? And it was pretty simple. 1, 2, right? So, solar plexus is yellow, while sacral is orange. I know this. I got it tattooed to me. You know what I mean? But because that is the story that I tell, okay? You see what I'm saying? That's the story that I tell, because it's the story that I laid out. Okay? Because that's the story I tell, that's what keeps repeating. So, there's been a lot of messages coming through about the mirror. There's been a lot of messages coming through about unions. So really, union happens with self first. You know, until you can fully love who you are, the light and the dark. Think about it. You know, it's the light and the dark within. That's our shadow. That's the story that we're telling. That is the conflicts that we're not able to resolve. That is the same situation showing up every single time and repeating the same pattern. So one thing that's always stood out to me the most, being on the spiritual journey, and something that I've always said, but it never fully resonated until I started trying to apply what I was learning in dating. Okay? Because naturally we become the product of our environment. So if we want to change that product of our environment, we have to consciously be aware of the patterns that we're repeating. And this goes into self-sabotage. This goes into not being able to ask for help. This goes into insecurities. This goes into being afraid. This goes into being afraid. So I was really guided to share that epiphany, to share that aha with you guys, and love how beautiful it was set up to be able to sit down today and share that. And I'm one of those that I'm going to practice what I preach because I kind of have to with what I was born with. You know, I don't really have a choice in the matter. So I wanted to pull some cards to see what's going on in the headspace with the higher self with divine feminine, divine masculine energies. So divine feminine, you've got the love, okay? Which, what's funny is it kind of goes hand in hand with what I was saying and being able to recognize, you know, the shadow within us. Okay, this situation is bringing in a shadowed response. So how do I change this? We change this by loving the other side of it. Okay, so like for instance, and being able to see the same pattern show up, going back to 17 with my mom and the car wreck happening, and then going back to now, similar situation, just a different package, right? And she wanted me to purchase a car. And it's not that I'm above owning someone that has passed over, above owning their vehicle. It's just that I don't know him. So for me, spiritually, I have to be aware of the energy that I'm bringing into my 3D experience, right? So being able to go back to that situation, being able to reflect on that moment. Okay, is this blow up a reflection of something bad within me? Or is this blow up, this tower, showing me, hey, this is the key to navigate where you're at. You need to be aware of your surroundings, listening to your intuition, right? Setting those boundaries, okay? It's a boundary that I had to set. And you know, I don't really owe the explanation to anybody. I just have to listen to my intuition. So that is a boundary within myself that even I'm having to learn. Like sometimes we have to set boundaries with family. This divine masculine energy is really integrating a lot of life lessons. There's some soul growth going on and higher learning, and it is Earth School. So this divine feminine's really being firm. Okay, here's my boundaries of self-love. Okay, sometimes those towers and those tower moments have to happen in order for you to see through the illusion, because sometimes mirrors can be illusions, right? To be able to see through the illusion that's there and use your intuition to decipher, is this here to teach me, or is this here to guide me? Okay, so we're really stepping out of that healing, like doing the work, Saturn, hard work, hard healing. We're stepping out of that and into grace and flow with feminine energy, right? So what's going on underneath the surface? Deep cellular healing. This is Arcturian energy, physical and emotional healing. So there's definitely a lot going on within that, underneath the surface, or it's underneath the surface that you can't see. Trust in the divine and what's coming through. Trust in your guides. Trust in your angelic realm. The messages have been pretty clear to me to trust in the angelic realm, especially when I get ready to take my next step. 10:01 on my clock. So what's going on in the heart space with the divine feminine? The divine feminine's heart is exploding. And there's the key. Didn't it show up yesterday that the divine, or was that underneath the surface? That might have been underneath the surface. The key that's unlocking the keyhole. And it says beautiful uncaging. And you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of when butterflies go through that transformation, the metamorphosis from a caterpillar into a butterfly. So as these boundaries are set, one of the biggest lessons that I've had to learn is you teach people how to treat you. So this is why boundaries are so important. If you're always feeling like you're always given, there needs to be a boundary of give and take. If you feel like you are, you know, always being told to be quiet, sometimes you need to step up and have your voice. If you're always being told whatever, okay, whatever it may be, really loving yourself, and that's what this is saying, is loving yourself enough to be able to put those boundaries there. And sometimes those boundaries have to be with the people that we love the most. And in loving them and having those boundaries, you're already planting the seeds for growth. So with this divine masculine in the heart space, higher view, you gotta love this. I'm talking about mirrors, and then we have mirror numbers. Okay, 1441. So this divine masculine's really, really, really using his heart space, because that's in the heart, to see the higher view, to see the bigger picture, to see how is this going to work? How is all of this going to be integrated? Because that's what we're doing. We're pulling everything that's been going on in the 5D and we're anchoring this into the 3D experience. Because what's going on underneath the surface is body and soul. And this is so beautiful. There's a dragonfly. It looks like a lotus flower. It's a 5 card. There's a lot of green. So definitely green's going to be connected to healing, Archangel Raphael, the heart chakra, which definitely goes hand in hand with the deep cellular healing that's happening underneath the surface. This healing has to happen first. These lessons have to be learned. Are you getting the messages that, hey, are you seeing the lesson? Are you seeing the cycle? Are you seeing the repeating pattern? Are you going within, tapping into your heart and taking an honest look at how maybe your reaction could be affecting the pattern that's going on? Okay, your reaction, masculine energy. We have those. We have both of those energies within us. Okay, so the way I see it and how I navigate it is my feminine energy is pulling it into my existence, right? Because my feminine energy is the empath. I am pulling it in and I am standing there as if I'm standing in the center of the tornado while the chaos of the tornado is going on around me. And I'm looking at higher view, I'm looking at all the pieces and going, okay, what is this telling me? What is this showing me? What am I feeling from this? And honoring every aspect of it and not really being like, and not taking it personal. Because we're like, for me, I'm at the point of my journey that, okay, now it's time to start action, implementing the lessons. Yep. And as I say, lessons, the lessons card comes out, okay? Also have angels are here. This is what you can't see. This is what's going on underneath the surface. And I love that this is actually in the underneath the surface spot because there's a lot of green showing up again, 1555. There's a lot of green showing up, and this card always reminds me of home. And the biggest lesson that I've had to see within everything that's happened since June, everything that's happened was, again, to remove all that was no longer serving me to my greatest good and highest joy, and allow me to really just stop and go, okay, what makes Brooke happy? What makes Brooke feel like a kid every day? What makes Brooke excited to get out of bed? What makes Brooke tick? You know what I mean? Who is that girl? Okay, she's been hidden in all of these toxic coping mechanisms. She's been hidden under all of this social conditioning, all of this religious conditioning, all of this toxic trauma. Who is this girl? And what makes her happy? So, and having everything removed, even my favorite cards. So in having everything removed, I was able to go, you know what really makes me happy? Sharing messages. You know what really makes me happy? Being able to connect with nature and put my feet on the ground. You know what really makes me happy? Going on spiritual quest. You know what really makes me happy? Having deep conversations with highly intuitive people. You know what really makes me happy is being able to spend quality time getting to know the young men that I've raised and taking that next step with them, you know, because they're going to be out of the house soon. And who am I once they go? You know, so many mothers start having empty nest, whatever, because, you know, they didn't deal with the trauma, and being codependent, thinking that you could fix somebody is a trauma response. So, you know, this has allowed me that opportunity to find out who I am outside of being Jacob and Luke's mom. So, some messages from my Indigo Angel cards. Divine Feminine, you are safe. And this is Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael has definitely been present a lot with me, especially over this last year. I've had to overcome so many fears over this last year in really being able to step into my divine truth. Know that you are safe. Know that you're protected. This divine masculine needs to start really shielding himself, really start putting himself in a protective bubble. Call on Michael to do so, because there could be dark, lower vibrational energies that are trying to get into your energetic field. So Practice good spiritual hygiene. This is something that's been coming up a lot. Good spiritual hygiene. And then what's going on underneath the surface? Think about it. Think about home. There's no place like home. Right? What does that feel like? We know everything that we don't want, but what does it feel like? Home feels safe. Home feels fun. Home feels free. Home feels exciting. Home feels passionate. Home feels important. Home feels seen. Home feels understood. Home feels nurtured. Home feels cared for. Home feels safe. Home feels like comfort. Home feels like you and your vibration. So it's really important that we really 21, we really tap into what that feels like, because we are sending out the call with our hearts to start pulling in those that are meant to be in our life. Okay? I love you guys. I hope these messages find you well. And I may not be around this weekend. The boys have been sick for almost 2 weeks. And they're slowly feeling better. Jacob's struggling just a little bit. If you could, please keep him in your prayers. It's taking him a little longer than we had hoped for him to get better. He's due to take his autoimmune medicine. So that's kind of where we're at. So we're going to spend the weekend doing whatever they want to do. Probably being the fifth wheel on double dates. Yay. And I love that they come to me and they say, Mom, teach me how to do it. Teach me how to be a good man. That's probably one of the biggest blessings a mother could ever get. Okay? I love you guys. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.